Welcome to another episode of the Tapao Show. And this series Days Off, we follow a guest from the F&B industry on the day off to see what they get up to, have a meal with them, have a bit of tea, and maybe spill a bit as well. For today, our guest is Edis, a vegan chef originally from Love Handle.
Hello, my name is Edis. I'm a chef, and on my off days I like to skate, like to go and chill out, have some drinks, and play with my dog. How did it all begin? I dropped out of school when I was 14. And then I told my mom, I told my parents, said, you know what, I'm gonna just start working, right? Back then I wanted to be a pro skater, so I pursued that skating career for a couple of years. But while doing that, I was also working part-time in a steakhouse.
Oh, okay.
Right, at Chimes, called Hawk's Breath.
That's like...
It's this Australian place, but basically I was doing the floor. Then one of the guys in the kitchen was a friend because he also skates. Then one day the kitchen, one of the guys didn't show up, right? Then he said, bro, we down one man, you want to come in the kitchen and help? Do fryer, bro. I said, okay ah. Say, sounds fun, right? Never do before mah.
Yeah, okay.
But then I never had any like commercial kitchen experience. Like growing up, I would help my mom like cook some stuff, cook some dumplings, like whatever one. So when I stepped in the kitchen that day, I was like,
Even like some Saturday afternoon.
fucking tiring, but actually quite vibe lah. Hey, 老板。来。你们有收 PayNow 吗？切那个。不用切。啊，不用切。Started working in China. Then I went to NS. Then in NS, I was posted as a cook.
Oh, back then you also had the cook position. Okay.
In Taiwan. So I was based in Kaohsiung for 1 year, and every day I just cook lah.
Yeah.
I just cook. I came back. Then they opened this new shop in Robertson Quay. Then Dylan asked me to join him. Then I went. Then after that, I was like, you know what? Like, been cooking for like 2 years already. In army ma. I feel like this is something that I can do, right?
Yeah.
So then I went to culinary school.
Okay.
Then my journey sort of started there lah. I took the whole bunch of leek and walked away, bro. Fuck, man.
So after army,
I thought, okay lah, like I need to do something with my career lah. And I was like, you know what? I think I should get a diploma because my highest cert, PSLE ma.
Okay.
I dropped out when I was Sec 2, right? So okay, I need to get a cert. So I went to Sunrise, interned at a few places, and then I slowly found my directions. When I got engaged, my wife's parents adopted a vegan diet, right?
Okay.
And I was in the Philippines lah.
Yep.
Then I wanted to take them out for dinner, and I realized that actually it's damn hard to find places, especially in the Philippines. To have any like good vegan food. And we know because we are from the industry, right?
Yeah.
For a long time, when somebody comes in and asks for a vegan option that you don't have on the menu, you just make something, and usually it's like an afterthought, right? Which sort of like frustrates me because food is as important to you as to anyone else, right? But then because you're vegan, you don't have that option of having a meal that is done for you, that is planned out for you, right? So I thought, okay, well let's try exploring this like plant-based concept, right? Started cooking a little bit, did some pop-ups. We were also very early into the plant-based scene, so we had to figure out a lot of things by ourselves, making simple stuff like, you know, how to make vegan mayo, right? You know, how to have like egg substitutes, what's the best way to cook a vegetable stock, you know? So there was a lot of like exploration, but there wasn't a lot of hype around the plant-based cuisine then. Only like 2 years later, then you know Singapore started to like talk about like
the Beyond Meat,
the whole like and then all these plant-based meats started coming in and sort of changed the game a little bit. But you know we changed with the times, right? Like using alternative protein and exploring different ways to make my own alternative protein. making my own like patties instead of buying, and it was a very interesting journey for me. It also opened my mind to not limit myself to what I learned in culinary school or what I know, what I learned in my previous experiences, right? Like a lot of things, I just had to figure out R&D and just play around with different techniques and different ways of cooking these vegetables, right?
Yeah. I like their container actually.
Yeah, man.
Damn useful.
It's all the salt container.
Yeah, it's damn
The sea
useful.
salt container.
I know that Americans like to do this. They like to get the circle containers, then like cup, then like put the thing in their fridge or something. Used to measure cup measurement.
Yeah.
But I hate circles. So like circle is nice to look at, but like honestly your fridge utilization is annoying.
Yeah.
Up till now, people are still doing things that are like mind-blowing, right? I think it's a concept that very often overlooked because vegetables, at the end of the day, the general public still sees it as a side dish, right? It's not the main protein, right? But it can be if you want.
What other misconceptions do you have to deal with, or this big little stigma that you have to deal with?
I feel like it's human nature. Most of my friends or most of the people around me are not vegans. When I was running Love Handle, like I'm proud of the food that I cook, right? But then it's very hard for me to convince sort of my friends to come and eat, right? Because they know right? I'm running a plant-based joint. If they come to my restaurant, there's no meat. But then actually when people come and try, they're like, actually, you had my food before, right?
I had the nuggets. The nuggets, not nuggets.
It's like you don't miss your meat, right?
Yeah.
But how do you explain to somebody, right? You don't need to have meat in your meal. You just try that, right? It came to a point where I give up convincing people to come and try. When people come and try themselves, when I throw parties or I throw events, and they eat it for themselves, then they'll be like, oh shit, actually, I mean, you know a few, I know a few, you're all mutual friends, right? Hardcore meat eaters, bro. No, I eat plant-based. But then when they eat already, right, they got nothing to say, right? Actually, they are like converts, right? Or they'll come to Love Handle just to eat whatever is there, right? And for me, that's the most like satisfying, right? To let them make their own decisions whether they like it or not, whether they like the food or not, right?
Actually, what's the idea behind vegans not having aliens?
No, vegan can have aliens. Vegetarian can have aliens.
Vegetarian.
Chinese vegetarian.
So it's a Buddhist thing.
Yeah, I think they said garlic and onions are not good for your stomach if you don't consume meat. Sometimes.
People tell me makes you excited, because it's so pungent, right? Then it makes you excited. Then it breaks the whole reason why they're vegetarian is because they want to like be zen, right? So anything that is too like overstimulating, right? Yeah.
Possible. I would agree that train of thought if they are going on to the not so cool thing. Don't know. Actually, maybe I'm going to actually read that shit up.
There's no ginger content.
Yeah. There's a funny thing. I think ginger.
Wait, then you cannot have coffee also. Coffee and tea.
This is why he gets annoyed, right?
I mean, you eat what you want, man. You decide for yourself, dude. Another stigma is because we're in Singapore, a lot of the vegetarians, though they don't eat meat, they also don't eat alliums.
Yeah.
Right? Onions,
garlic,
leeks and stuff, right? So we actually have a few people come into the shop, to the restaurant, and tell me that, hey, you guys are not a vegan restaurant because you use onions and...
It's vegan.
But what's the... Hey man, it's vegetables, man. But then because these vegetarians, they don't eat alliums, right? So I have to have alien-free options on my menu because I need to cater to these guys. So we get a lot of these people lah. They write a review. They serve aliens. They're not fully vegetarian, but it depends on the people that come through lah.
The vegetarian is also subjective because some can eat eggs.
Correct,
and some can't.
Correct. You understand, right? Because this is how the culture is, right? Culture is culture, right? But I think there's a big like education part as well, right? And I think the more you do it, the more people understand lah.
You know, the recent vegan trends and things like that, right? Especially with how it's more portrayed in especially the Western countries. Is it something you feel that everyone just want to get into just because it's trendy right now?
I feel like there are a lot of layers to it, right? It's trendy, but at the same time, the government is putting a lot of attention to it. My opinion is that if we all don't do our part, right, then the world that we live in and the world that our kids maybe will live in is a big question mark. What the human race is doing right now is not working out for the earth, right? And I think there are people that are preaching about this, but I feel like preaching don't do much, you know? Like you're just throwing words at somebody, right? And going to an extreme is also very difficult. You can't expect someone that has eaten meat all their lives to switch to a plant-based diet because the world is, you know, suffering right now. And maybe you don't even care, which is fine, right? I don't care that the world is suffering right now because in 50 years I won't be around. Sure, right? That's, you're entitled to your opinion, right? And that's fine, right? But there's also a group of people that sees that like whatever small decisions that you make somehow makes an impact in the long run. I just scared I fall into the drain.
Do you think you had any regrets taking that whole vegan vegetarian route to explore? Like, were there any regrets that you think that if I didn't go there, like I could have pursued something else?
No regrets, man. For me, I like to take the path that is less chosen. I think there is a beauty in that, in pursuing something that not a lot of people want or know about. For me, growth is very important, right? I mean, even in terms of like trying to find your own way, being an advocate for this whole sustainability movement, right? I feel like I've grown a lot as a person, right? And if it wasn't for this journey that I took, right? Sure, I would have done something else, but I might not be able to achieve what I have achieved today.
What's the end goal in all of this?
For me, it's just cooking at a space, wherever the space is, right? It can be here, it can be whatever place, right? But to still be able to host people at my spot, it all boils down for me to food being a binder, you know, for the community, right? I think people should enjoy food, right? Whatever diet you're on, I think food is meant to be shared together, right? And any kind of gathering, right? There will sure be food on, right? When there's food on the table and people around the table, there will be good conversation.
So the mounting screw on the gimbal probably dropped off on my way to the shoot, and
Please sponsor, please.
we probably got to deal with shaky shots for this segment, but unfortunately,
It's all real. We're not making this shit up.
unfortunately that has happened, so I'm gonna make do with what I have. I actually ran back to Paraphrase just to go and try and get it, but the other stuff that I had just didn't work, so gotta do what we gotta do.